Hey, morning.
Hello. Where are you? Oh, you're in the cool office of your friends.
That's right. Yeah, I just sat down. So, yeah, coming in hot here. But this is my friends at Whiteboard. If you haven't heard of Whiteboard, you should check out. They do incredible work, amazing creative agency, branding. Yeah,
Mhm.
can't say enough good things. But they're kind enough to let me get out of my basement and come jump in here and do cool stuff with them.
Well, and whenever I see you there too, it like definitely looks like you're all y'all's aesthetic at home, with the black and
Oh,
red and gray,
that's high
So
praise.
I'm always like, yeah.
Thanks.
Well, you do love your black and red and gray.
That's true. That's true. Um, and so this is fun because I'm coming in so hot. I've not read today's blog at all today.
Okay, well, I'll
Some
read it to
fresh
you.
ears.
It's good. It's very good. It is long again.
It's
So
getting verbose.
I was even thinking, like, I don't know, maybe if you're listening or watching, tell us, do you like it when we read it to you, or would you rather us just kind of pull out a couple of sentences and talk about that? Because they are sometimes Seth only writes a sentence and sometimes he writes like a whole blog. So, okay, here we go. Tasks and projects. School is a training ground for task-based thinking. Will this be on the test? You finish your homework and then you go out and play. This is one reason educators are flummoxed by ChatGPT. It upsets the calibrated balance of effort in the task of homework and essays. The essay was not the point, the effort was. Schooling is organized this way because most industrial work is. Cottage industries, piecework, and many freelancers work on tasks. If tech helps you finish your task faster, the time saved is yours. Take the rest of the day off, at least until the boss recalibrates the task expectations. But important work is project work. Projects have component tasks associated with them, but they all contribute to something bigger, something that feels unlimited. Serving the next customer at McDonald's is a task, but building the brand into a worldwide chain is a project.
Hmm.
Cooking spaghetti is a task, but hospitality is a project. Projects seek to do something that might feel insurmountable, and projects often have completion. If
Competition.
you, oh, competition, thank you so much. If you finish some tasks with time to spare, put that productivity to work doing something else that serves the customer. If you don't, we might not get another chance because someone else will. Sometimes people say they're not paying me enough to care. What they mean is that the industrialist has chosen them to do tasks, and going beyond tasks isn't part of the deal. On the other hand, when we sign up for a project, the terms of the deal have to be deeper and more human than trading effort for money. Art is a project. Connection, community building, counseling, all of these are projects. When our work is project focused, we're not a cog in a vast machine. Instead, we're a contributor with agency, someone who is working with and for the agenda we've agreed to. Bad bosses try to have it both ways. They are stingy with agency, authority, and compensation, and insatiable when it comes to effort. But smart leaders understand that given the chance, most of us would love the chance to be seen, to contribute, and to be part of something. Go find a project. Woo! Did you love that or what? I feel like this speaks right to your heart.
Yeah. The hard part is wanting to process that for like a couple hours and not being able to do that in this medium. So would love to borrow your less flummoxed. I feel like we're learning vocabulary words. It's like a fun word.
Seriously. I know. And I was just thinking I need to read more because I feel like I've become a worse reader
Hmm.
lately because I don't read as often as I watch and listen more than where I like even a few years ago I feel like I read more. Anyway,
Yeah,
that's a whole
interesting.
nother. But yeah. Yeah, no, you're saying you want to borrow my desire to not think deeply about things
No,
and move
no,
on.
you're less flummoxed. You were in the saddle. You were at your computer a little more time than I was. But yeah. So I mean, go with that. Why was that close to my heart? Maybe what?
Well, because I think like where you are gifted is in like disruption and ideation and like seeing the bigger picture of what a project or entity is trying to achieve. And I know that you and I both don't enjoy the minutia of tasks.
Right.
Like I think people who know us both well know that. And it sparks a conversation I had when I was a few months ago. I called a dear friend who I hadn't talked to in a while, and they have a marketing agency. And I was like bouncing off some ideas with him about this proposal I was trying to send. And um, he was like, "It sounds like you don't want to do the work, but with AI and everything, like strategy is cheap. It's people want to pay people who get things done."
Mm.
And it didn't really sit well with me in the conversation. Like I kind of told him, I was like, "I don't know if I agree with you, but I'm going to be thinking about that." And now I officially disagree with him. Um, because yeah, and like, I feel like with AI, like kind of per our conversation yesterday, the task mastery is what will become commoditized. But the strategy is still what is so complex. And if it wasn't, we would all be rich, right? Like if there was a formula that worked every single time to grow every type of business or any type of business, then we would, there would, yeah, like everything, I guess that's what Seth is saying. Like everything would then be a task. But what he's saying here is projects have competition, projects are dynamic, projects respond to the change and human behavior that we see in the world. And even today, I like came across this. One of my clients is an e-commerce company, and we're trying to figure out how do we do a better job on social media, but of course, while being good stewards of our money that we have, you
Sure,
know.
sure.
And I found this tool called Creatify that is incredible. You take like a link of a product, put it in there, and they use AI to create, and like it looks like a person. It's an avatar. It's very realistic. I feel like the majority of people would not, unless you're like really in tune to AI, I feel like you wouldn't notice that it's not really a person.
Okay.
Anyway, and the first one that it did was great. It was like really on the money. The second one that I tried to do, it wasn't like, it was not able to connect the fact that the product page I put in there had a bunch of different products on it. It was trying to take
Mm.
like, but so anyway, my point is like you still have to use your create or strategic thought process. It like AI is just going to spit out a strategy, but it doesn't have the context. It doesn't have the learning from your customers. It doesn't have
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So anyway, that's my TED Talk is Seth is using the word project. I think I'm using the word strategy, but that's the part that I mean, people, I guess the jury is out. Some people are like, "Oh, AI will be able to do that soon." And maybe that's true, but I think we're still a pretty far away from it being able to us being able to outsource true strategic thinking.
Mm. Yeah, you got me thinking about several other pithy hot takes of the past that maybe don't quite fit anymore. Like, there's one, like, ideas are cheap and it's all about execution. And I'm like, at the time I was like, yeah, a resounding yes. Like, I mean, like, here's I'm guilty of like, I've got bunch of ideas. Like ideation's not a problem for me. And but the execution on like making it happen and then like creating value from that then is something someone wants to acquire or whatever. Yeah, sure. Okay. But where that used to take a team of developers and lots of time to wait on, like this moment, this AI generative AI moment has basically made it like now is the golden era of the idea guy, because I don't have to like the friction to get from idea in my head to out where it's clickable, like vibe coding, this concept of like being able to speak into a platform like mine of choice is vo.dev by Vercel. But you've got Lovable and all these others that are so popular. The idea guy who I have product background, so like I can create user journey or user stories relatively like instinctually by instinct,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
but like I can get out in 30 minutes. I can create a whole company, and
Yeah.
but now it's and then, so like it's still valid to the extent of like executing on getting it out and like making it really real. But where like I don't know, I think it's really challenging a lot of those. those things too. I think I'm being long-winded here, but just in agreeing that some of those pithy statements are not quite, they don't hit quite as hard anymore.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Like, I think that's the power of it is like we're able to learn faster.
yes.
Um, yeah, but yeah, AI and all these tools and resources at our fingertips enables us to learn faster so we can see what's going to make a bigger impact faster and not waste as much time and resources. Yeah.
And so I've wondered if, so I think maybe to your earlier point, like work with a lot of project managers who are incredible, awesome, and this has not, my next statement has nothing to do with the people themselves, right? But
Mhm.
when it comes to being a hub for delegating tasks,
Mhm.
I'm like, how soon until like that hub,
Mhm.
that mechanism that really I need you to keep me accountable to tasks on a timeline, set an outline,
Mhm.
and bother me until the task gets done, and then bother the contractors until the task gets done. I'm like, how long until that's basically just a agent that is calendar, can use a calendar, can use updates, send messages, and like make sure that a task gets done. It's like,
Yeah.
uh, yeah.
Yep.
So it's the
Mhm.
strategy, the idea, the knowing your niche, like knowing your being able to like feel the felt need, like the felt part of the felt need, being able to identify that and press towards that. That I think the value proposition is, yeah, it's different.
Well, that and the best task masters of thinking about the bigger picture. So, for example, with like Anna, who works with us, at the Ready Network, who is like the best task master ever. But it's not just because she can get things done really fast, it's because she's thinking about how to connect all the dots
Yeah.
of, especially like my crazy spaghetti brain. Like, she's so, yeah, it's because like that's what's interesting, right? Is like she puts things on my calendar all the time. Do I do them? No. But she's then like responding to me and just like what's the word? Like she kind of looks at me as a project, right? It's
Yeah.
like, okay, how do we channel Holly's energy and time and resources to like make
Hmm.
sure we're doing the right things and the best things and not just getting down a checklist of things. It's prioritization. I think that's a really hard thing right now in the world. Like, because I think, what did he say here? Somewhere I feel like it was like tasks are never completed or like, um, I don't remember where it was, but like, um, if you finish some tasks with time to spare, put that productivity to work doing something else that serves the customer. If you don't, we might not get another chance because someone else will. Well, that sparked something else for me of just people who like sometimes I'm jealous of people who are like, "Well, that was the job. I'm done. I got some hours back in my day." Because I'm the one that's like always like, "There's more to do. There's more we can do. How do we?" To
Yeah.
my detriment. I'm not saying like I'm awesome. I'm saying it's unhealthy often. But
Yeah.
anyway,
So
I'm all over the
interesting.
place this morning. I feel like this could be a whole book. So
Yeah. Well, and just a couple like little interesting things that are less about the topic at hand and more about Seth's blog.
yeah.
So you're familiar with the M dash? Have you heard about the M dash?
Mhm.
So I just find it so interesting that our lovely Seth, who we dedicate all of this to, there's a lot of M dashes in here these days, and they're seemingly a little more verbose. And what I find really interesting, this isn't a call out because like just like any other person, I'd be like, you should use the tools. Like we've talked about it. We're talking about it right now. Use the tools. But it sure does seem like Seth is leaning into ChatGPT.
The
And
in dash is like such a controversy right now. If you go to my LinkedIn, like I guess it was sometime last week or the week before,
yeah,
I had a post where I was talking about how like I'm so tired of people using emojis because I
I saw
immediately
that.
associate. Yeah, it got like 50 some odd comments. People were like, and almost like 10 of them at least were all about the M dash. Well, like because my friend Bryce put like a hot take about the M dash on there, and then like
Yeah.
people had very strong opinions because what somebody on there said to Bryce was that it's actually the AP style of formatting, and so it's
Oh.
frustrating. So he was like, his name's Jonathan. He was like, I get frustrated when people say that it's AI because for me, it's not. I use M dashes all the time because it's the AP style. So maybe that's what Seth is doing, or maybe he is using ChatGPT.
So what's funny is I know a lot of us like knowledge workers, we live on our laptops, right? But,
Mhm.
on the move, you may have an idea or like a quick, and so you're on your phone and you're like, so I was like, wait a minute, is the M dash even available on the like iOS keyboard? And I found it.
Mhm.
It is the dash, the regular dash. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So now I want to go do research on dash. But like I'm going to show this real quick and see if this is for
Oh.
our viewers on like at our Substack. But
Mm.
oh,
Or
can I
YouTube.
turn off? Okay, I just wanted to. I took a screenshot. Oh,
Yeah,
can't.
I see
Okay,
it.
but you
Yeah.
have to hold down. So this means you have to click on the like go to the characters, right?
Yep.
And then you have to hold down the dash that's the default dash, and it's the
Yeah.
third one over. So in other words, what I'm
Wow.
trying to say by like, look at how it's super buried. So just know that like the likelihood of someone on purpose by choice using an M dash, despite it being in the AP, book,
Yeah.
um, is
A
super
lot of effort.
unlikely.
Yeah. You're either like a super nerd who's spending a lot of time and
Out of
energy
principle for the dash.
style, which Jonathan, if you're listening to this, no offense, because you are a very principled person. I know that about you, and admire that.
I
But
love a
yeah,
good
it would take,
dash, but the M dash is so much effort to get to that it's just like it's so fun. Um,
yeah.
but not that again, and not that you should be like, and this will be my last thing, and then I'll stop. But I feel like it's so funny how we bring the big word, not big word, but the common word, justify. We
Mhm.
justify our use of AI tools right now by saying like, I used ChatGPT and I made this. It's like if you think about what a funny like fast forward 2 years or I don't know how long it's going to take, a year, maybe 6 months, and it's like imagine if someone's like, hey, look at this picture, it's like I'm not going to tell you like I used my iPhone 14 Pro camera, so yeah, or like, hey, look how I created this social media post for you, and it's like you adjusted it, you used the light, like you don't have to go. I mean, I used Photoshop, so like it's like
Mm.
expected that you would use best in class tools to create the best in class product, and it's so funny how right
Mhm.
now, and I don't know what the sociology or the psychology of it is exactly, but maybe it's because we feel like we brought in it's
It feels
so
like cheating.
it feels like cheating. It's been put like that in the press with like students using it like, well, if you don't tell people you used it. But I mean like in a professional work, like I've started like I'm not going to say it every time, but I've started like I don't care if my team uses it. In fact, I want you to use it. It's such a
Yep.
funny thing that we humans it's the season of justification of using it in your work right now.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
remember like in high school when we had to write, I remember for me, we had to write paper because I guess high school was probably when the internet was like for me was when it was like more broadly accessible. For you, it was probably college. Like I remember when you moved into
easy,
college,
easy.
your computer.
Oh, it's a big
And that
deal.
was
Got
yeah,
dude, I got a Dell. Remember everybody saying, dude, you got a Dell.
yes. But yeah, like there were some times where we weren't allowed to use online sources, like
That's
where we
right.
had to use, and then there were I feel like there was some paper in junior year for some reason I have this memory. Probably because I had a reaction similar to what we're talking about right now, where it was like we had to use at least three sources, two of which could not be online. They had to be from like an encyclopedia or, a book, and then one had to be from online.
That's right.
Um, and now, like, I mean, I don't know, but I can't imagine that that's a requirement in school anymore, as long as it's like a reputable source on the internet. So, yeah, that's fascinating. That's it's so interesting.
Well,
I love
Holly,
how the last
oh,
few days this has kind of turned into like an AI podcast, which is kind of fun.
yeah, and it's the hype cycle right now. So want to make sure that we don't, go too far down the road in one direction away from Seth, but it's his
Do
fault.
work
He's bringing it up, right?
right, yeah. But yeah, I think it just goes back to his whole thing, which is why I think I love him so much. It's just a reminder to like do work that matters. So
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And
yeah, work that matters where you're going to be appreciated. Yeah.
I just want to say, Holly, we started out asking if we could do a daily podcast. And here we are on
We're doing
Friday.
And I don't think we actually talked about it. I think we take the weekend off, right? We're not trying to like,
Yeah. No.
okay,
Which he doesn't. Seth doesn't take the weekend off, which is wild,
that's
but we
true.
do.
And maybe
Yeah.
we'll use like our Monday. We'll be like, was there just a crazy awesome thing on the weekend? We'll maybe use our discernment. Um,
Mhm.
but hey, we did it. We did a work week where we
And a
figured
whole
out
week.
just, some time squared away for this project and we did it.
Hmm. We
It's
did
super
it.
fun.
Yep. Us. I know. I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, a lot of people. I have a pet peeve when people say I didn't have time, or like, because we all have the same amount of time. It's you didn't choose to spend your time on it, and so it's like no guilt or shame. That was your choice, but you have time to do whatever you want to do, and so we have made time to do this because it was important to us, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, that was great.
Okay,
It's
well,
been
have a good
fun.
Friday.
You too. What